Welcome, welcome. I am Dina, and this is Discussions with Dina, Social Sunday edition, the one day of the week that I have chosen to comment on some of the posts, news, and or information of concern to me on social media and in local or national news. Come on, let's talk. I want to invite you to join into the conversation. Join the conversation. Chat with me live and subscribe. Like, comment, and or share this podcast. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify at Discussions with Dina, and be sure to join me right here every Sunday at 2 p.m. for Discussions with Dina, Social Sunday edition. If you would like to show your support for this podcast, you can do so by donating to $ Discussions with Dina with Cash App or by donating to paypal.me/discussions with Dina. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Today, of course, is Savior's Day. And to all of the sisters and brothers celebrating and attending the Savior's Day convention this year, I want to wish you a very happy Savior's Day and wish you peace, blessings, and safe travels in your coming and in your going. I am looking forward to hearing the minister speak today. So, once again, happy Savior's Day to you all. Now, let's get to the meat of this entire discussion. As I was looking and listening on social media, there was a particular post that caught my attention. And it was an interesting article, of course. The headline read, China says it will increase its military presence in Africa. That is one of those things that make you go, Now, China is looking to strengthen defense engagement with African countries, adding to its economic and commercial profile on the continent. It is said that would complement existing Chinese ventures such as peacekeeping activities, weapon sales, as well as protecting Chinese assets. Protecting their assets? This is what the experts say. Yeah, right. For decades, China's presence in Africa has largely focused on economic, commercial, and peacekeeping activities. This is what the article is saying. Now that Beijing is building on that by establishing a greater military, and this is supposed to be protecting, this is supposed to be protecting their assets on this continent. I mean, this to me is just a bunch of BS. What it says is the People's Liberation Army conducts regular joint training exercises across the region and in certain countries that are home to major Chinese infrastructure projects under what's called the Belt and Road Initiative. And it's saying that they've been especially active. Now, in Djibouti, Chinese companies have constructed ports and Africa's first electric transnational railway. And this was done in Beijing maybe a year or two ago. And they launched their first overseas military base. It also operates as a logistics and intelligence facility. Now, they're saying that experts are anticipating that there will be more Chinese bases in years to come, with Namibia rumored as a potential location. Honey, this is nothing but an invasion. Let's just call it what it is. Now, in Tanzania, where the state run conglomerate China Merchants Holdings International is hoping to invest in Bagamoyo Megaport, China built a complex designed to train local armed forces in somebody else's country. And the first ever China Africa Defense and Security Forum in Beijing, they announced they will provide African countries with comprehensive support, whatever that means. And they went on to say they will provide comprehensive support on matters such as piracy and counterterrorism, and including providing technology, equipment, personnel, and strategic advice. This is what the local media reported. I just want to say, y'all better wake up, Africa. I mean, this is clear. All this comes amid expectations that the United States is supposed to reduce the troops in Africa under the current president. It's supposed to be an America First policy. It's supposed to boost the president of China's government as a dominant foreign power on that continent. Now, this strengthened defense ties complement China's existing ventures, particularly weapon sales, according to specialists. In recent years, Chinese arms sales to Africa have surpassed the United States, said one of the senior researchers at the Danish Institute for International Studies. Chinese small arms and light weapons have spread rapidly since China is less inhibited by selling arms to countries in the midst of conflict than Western providers are. And that goes hand in hand with Beijing expanding military cooperation. Yeah, right. It is said that their desire to safeguard Chinese workers in Chinese funded projects on the continent is likely behind the government's effort. Whom are you safeguarding it against? It is aimed at actually its own nationals, and military diplomacy is skillfully used to protect them and their interests. These people have invaded this country. Now, they are using the evacuation of hundreds of Chinese and foreign nationals from Yemen in 2015 that sailed from the coast of Somalia to prove how crucial the presence of a military logistics base is on the eastern coast of Africa. And we're talking about China here. Even Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder could see what's going on. And this indicates to me that Africa is setting itself up to be taken over by another country. They are allowing another country to take over their land, their economy, and even allowing these people to discriminate against their own people, to oppress their own people in their own country. I have seen videos of Chinese paddling grown men. A grown man. A grown man. And there was a black man that said he was late for work. And this Chinese man had a stick and was beating him. What is wrong with you people? I don't understand this. I need someone to explain it to me and make it make sense, because it doesn't and it shouldn't. Now, these people are in Africa, the black continent, discriminating against black people in their own country. I even saw a video on one of the other YouTubers' channels where this guy, Chinese, had the little black children, look like a school of children, just a classroom of children, babies, and they were screaming out some words. They were actually repeating what he was saying, but he was speaking in his own language, not in the language that they could understand. But what he was in fact doing is having these little babies insult themselves, having them call themselves niggers, monkeys, and apes, How can you trust people like this is my question to you. These people have disdain and pure hatred for your people, but you are allowing them to take over your country. There was a video that I saw where um, they were not allowing the black people in a certain part of Africa. These Chinese people had businesses and wouldn't even allow black people in these businesses. They set it up, but they wouldn't even allow them to come in Africa. What is wrong with you? I'll ask again. This makes absolutely no sense to me. Now, at some point, we're just going to have to call this for what it is. This is pure nonsense. And we need to hold these people accountable. Those people who are in Africa and see this and are aware of what is going on, you need to hold your government officials responsible, because we can see this and we're a continent away and we can see this. I mean, it was so disappointing and quite insulting to see this being done. And I just want to know, when are you going to wake up, Africa? I'm sure there are African people who see this just as I do. It's clear. I have also seen pictures of and read that these people have prepared several places within Africa where they have developed entire subdivisions or communities with apartments, several apartments that have been completed and are just sitting empty. These are communities, buildings, tall buildings, but there's no one living in these buildings. And I'm going to tell you why nobody's living there. These people have planned a full and complete invasion and takeover of Africa. It is clear as the nose on one's face. But where is the leadership of Africa? Can they not see what is happening here? You gotta wake up. Get up and stand up. Stop allowing others to come and steal the resources and sell them and give you fool's gold. Now, Africa is full of resources. This is the motherland. There are many natural resources, and this is what the world seeks. This is why all these countries come to Africa. But when are you, Africa, gonna take your place on the throne? When are you gonna see the resources that you have to offer and start dealing wisely with your enemies? Because these people don't love you. They hate your people. They just love your resources. I mean, this was very disheartening to me, and I have to say it just made to see those little children being manipulated by these people and to bring their mentality to the black continent. Are you serious? Are people just gonna allow this to happen? Is there no one speaking out on this? Now, speaking of China, while we're still talking about China, ABC News reported that health officials say we may be on the brink of a pandemic. There are fears of a possible global coronavirus pandemic outbreak. It's growing. There are global hotspots, hot zones all over China and all over the world. And I'm just noting the major new outbreak of more than 400 cases in South Korea was linked to religious sect. In countries like Japan and South Korea has cases that are spread from person to person with no known link as to where it came from. They are spraying the streets and testing thousands of people, but this stuff is real. Now, I read and I saw actually that there is a new outbreak in Little Italy. It's in Europe, and there has been hundreds of cases in Europe and in the Middle East with no known link to China. They're trying to find out how. COVID-19 has killed over 2,300 people with more than 77,000 cases, and it is a warning that they are warning that the window of opportunity is narrowing to contain this virus and the spread of it. And it makes me wonder about these products we get from China, because everybody within the sound of my voice can simply look into your closet, your kitchen, all over your house. All of these products that come from China. And I know in America we have 99, I'm going to say 99, and that may be stretching it a little, but every time you turn over something, you read the little label, it's saying made in China. And we need to keep in mind, sisters, that this includes hair weave. This stuff is spreading like wildfire. Hair weave, clothes, home products, shoes, just about everything is made in China. And we need to look into this because this may be a way that this is being spread. Now, if it evolves into a pandemic, America's top infectious disease doctor said that there is no way the United States is not going to escape having more infections here. And mind you, there are 13 people that were rescued from the cruise ship in Japan, 13 of them, and there were more, but I'm going to say 13 of those people were rescued, but they're back here in America, in Nebraska, and 11 of the 13 people that were rescued from that ship tested positive for the coronavirus. That is here in the United States. And they are confirming that at least 34 people are infected here in the United States, people. Now, they claim that there has only been two cases of person-to-person transmission of this virus here in the United States. But all of the people evacuated from the Diamond Princess cruise ship are at high risk, and they are expecting more to test positive for the coronavirus. Just keep this in mind. These are just the ones that we have been made aware of. Can you imagine the ones that we don't know about, that we haven't been made aware of? Now, the State Department issued a warning to avoid traveling by cruise ships around Asia, and the CDC is calling this a tremendous health threat, and is said to be working with state and local health officials. They're trying to work with the pharmacists, the hospitals, and the medical supply companies to make sure that they can meet all of the demands in the case there is a potential pandemic. This is serious. And not only is it spreading, but the fear of getting it is spreading. There was also some information shared on TV where there were protesters that set fire in Ukraine. They were trying to block these buses that were carrying evacuees from China. I don't understand this stuff. If I don't understand this evacuee thing. I'm still learning more about it, but it is quite scary. Now, this was said to be because these people fear that those people were bringing the coronavirus to them and into places where it can spread that didn't have it. And that's understandable. But the authorities are disinfecting streets in Korea, China, and other countries trying to prevent the spread of this disease. This is serious, and I don't know what else one can do but try to practice good hand washing techniques and try to prevent yourself from touching things. Like, I know it's hard to do, but when you're in the grocery store, be careful not to touch things and touch your nose and mouth or put it to your face. I mean, this is something that's serious, and it's spreading like wildfire. I don't even know if that is enough, but we gotta try. And I've also read that if you use the alcohol-based hand sanitizer, that can help also. But use any precaution that you possibly can to prevent being infected because they keep moving these people around, and I'm just questioning, are they using the right equipment and techniques to even sterilize the stuff, the vehicles or the transportation that they're using to take them from one point to another? These are things we have to think about. I see that they were trying to get some kind of biolab set up, which is they were trying in here in America, they're trying to contain it. So they're trying to keep the patients in a specific place to try to contain. But then I saw a bunch of them being released, and then I was thinking about how long it actually takes for what they call the incubation period with this stuff. And it's scary because what if they release somebody that they tested and it just didn't show up within the 14-day time period, but you put them back in the population and it continues to spread. They continue to infect us. I mean, when you start thinking about it, it'll have you up all night. So we're going to stay up to date on what is going on with this because this is serious and it is killing people and it's moving rapidly. Now, on another note, I saw that there is a locust infestation in certain parts of the world. There was a video that showed the locust insects swarming and expanding in a place called Lorraine. The swarms are in the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia, and they are eating and destroying crops. And this is putting millions of people at risk and in danger of hunger and a possible famine on the horizon. This is like biblical proportions, what I was seeing. It was scary and amazing at the same time. And I was thinking, isn't this one of the plagues from the Bible? It just makes you wonder. But I want us to use this as an opportunity to get our survival kit together and perhaps start a garden, because you can do a garden that is protected from those insects. I would say every family or home who are able to start a little garden and protect it from the environment. That way we can grow some food or have some food that's able to keep us if there is a famine of some type. You're able to survive it and start putting up some food and goods. And it's just a good time to prepare yourself and your family for this possibility. I mean, the survival kit everybody needs, and we need to start no greater time than now. Perhaps this is an opportunity for you and your family to just start doing something, putting something away in case of. It's always best to be safe than sorry. And we'll delve a little more into this at a later date, even perhaps demonstrating a few ways we can prepare. Now, the next social media headline that caught my eye, this was on Facebook. And I personally find it a little disgusting, and I find it quite distasteful. This heading said, and I'm reading from that heading, upcoming Marvel movie to feature beautiful and moving LGBT kiss. Yuck. Now, I'm going to read what it says. I'm simply reading what it said, and then I will give my input, my 2 cents on it. It says, and it's dated February 21st. After a false alarm, the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be getting its first transgender superhero soon. Official sources have confirmed that one of the studio's upcoming films will feature a kiss between two men. Last week, Eternal star Haz Slayman revealed his upcoming on-screen kiss with co-star Brian Tyree Henry. Yuck. Now, according to LifeSite News, Marvel specifically sought out a same-sex attracted actor for the film. Slayman plays the husband of Phastos, Henry, the cinematic universe's first openly gay superhero. That studio executive Ken Feige, whatever, Feige, alluded to last month. He's married, he's got a family, and that is just part of who he is, Feige told Good Morning America while at the D23 Expo in Anaheim. And it goes on to say, I just shot a Marvel film with the first openly gay superhero, the Eternals. I'm married to the gay superhero, Phastos, played by Atlanta's Brian Tyree Henry. If you didn't know, he's the one that calls himself Paperboy on that show Atlanta. Now, it goes on to say that we represent a gay family and have a child, Slayman told New Now and Next, adding that living as an openly LGBT lifestyle so much better for young people now. Blah 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 blah. Now let me just say this is sick behavior, and I want to recommend that you do not take your black children to see this or allow them to see this on any television. This has gay agenda written all over it. It serves no purpose for the black community but to continue to confuse people. Now, this article continues. It says, as for the kiss, Slayman called it a beautiful, very moving kiss. There's nothing beautiful or moving about two black men kissing each other. And then he said that everyone cried on set during filming. This is just a bunch of BS. And I think this is helping to promote the gay agenda among black people and black men in particular. I wouldn't support this nonsense, and I would encourage you to not allow your children to support this kind of nonsense. Now, Eternals will also star Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Selma Hayek, Kit Harington, and Kumail Nanjiani. Now, back in March, Marvel's production chief Victoria Alonso said the world is ready for a homosexual superhero. This is nonsense. The LGBT community wants a superhero that is a homosexual. I don't want to see this. Now, Marvel Studios is owned by Disney and are promoting this pure, unadulterated nonsense. And this is what Marvel and Disney are pushing. Are you going to reward them for this? Now, the article goes on to say, it's simple, folks, when it comes to entertainment, to the entertainment industry. We can only vote with our dollars. While we still have liberty in this nation to choose what media we will and will not consume, we must exercise that liberty to say loud and clear that this is not something we want to see. Now, I have noticed more and more each day this agenda to promote homosexuality to black children, especially black children, in regards to black men. And I believe this to be by design. It's sad to see so many of our people falling for this trick, but it is destroying the black family. It is destroying this generation of children, their mentality, their even physically and spiritually, they're destroyed. And not to mention that this is rooted in perversion. It's sick. And I don't find it acceptable. This is not something that I support. And I feel like those of us who feel as I do, we're going to have to start speaking up and speaking out truthfully as to how we feel about some of this stuff they seem to be pushing on our youth. Now, we can already see the confusion among our people. We have children today who were born male or female and wondering, acting as if they are confused as to what and whom they are. This is somebody's sick mind being imposed on these children. You know what you were born. This is a confusion that is purposely done to control the mind of children. We're going to have to get these children out of the TV, cut off these radios. We're going to just have to be parents and start doing what we should to parent our children and not allowing media propaganda to control them. This society has made most everybody confused. Media is manipulating and at the root of all this mental illness, because that is what it is. And for us to sit and say or do nothing means we are complicit with their intentions. We got to protect these children. These people today are confused. And then they're looking at people who are not confused as if they are the problem. And if you look at what happens every day in the news, you're hearing about another perpetrator who has molested someone. Pedophiles are common today, and it has completely destroyed this generation of people mentally and physically. These people are confused about what makes a woman, and I think this is purposely done. The human body is still the same that it was when humans first came upon the earth. Nothing has changed. There is not a third sex. We are confusing these children and we are allowing them to be confused. You got people asking questions or saying silly stuff. I'm a man, but I feel like a woman. I'm a woman, but I feel like a man. And we're accepting this nonsense. What you are doing is confusing these children. You're playing with words, and it's dangerous. This is like mad scientists and just devilish beings that are dabbling within the human brain and psyche and confusing people for their own benefit. And you ask, what is that benefit? I do believe, as I have heard and I've come to the conclusion, I think people want to be able to be legal pedophiles. They want to be able to manipulate the mind of children so they can get in their panties. But we've got to uphold some standards or we will become like the beast. We are not beasts. We are humans. And there are things that separate a human being from the wild beast. We know that dogs will sleep with anything and they don't care who the female is. And I'm starting to see this society mimic some of this beastly behavior. But we have control of our children's mind when they're little. And we need to do just that. Take that away from the media. We've got to teach our babies truth and not allow them to be confused by what media and propaganda has put out here. It is a battle, but one that must be won by us. It's a fight. You got to fight for their hearts, their minds, and now even their bodies. It's sad, but it is true. And this has nothing to do with hate. This is about truth. You're confusing these babies. We have taken this mental illness and we have accepted it and we're pushing this upon everybody. And nobody wants to speak out, but we're going to have to speak clearly and loud and say, if that is what you have chosen as an adult, you do it over there, but it does not and should not be pushed upon me. Now that leads me to another topic that I saw on Facebook as well. There was a picture of Rihanna, and Rihanna was wearing a see-through dress. And this dress, I don't even know if you could call it a dress, but it was so thin and sheer that you could clearly see through it, and that was the intention. It was like she was wearing nothing. And underneath, it was clear she was not wearing anything. I mean, no underwears, no bra, no panties, no nothing. And I could not help but notice some of the comments about the picture. That's why I clicked on it. The picture showed her and she was clearly nude. And they showed her from the back and from the front because that is how she wanted to be seen. And I mean, she is completely naked. And she's done this on purpose and was attending a public event. And as I read on and clicked on the pictures, I wanted to get a feel for what people were saying because I remember how they reacted with this Lizzo thing. And I had to hear what people were saying in the comments. I mean, she left nothing to the imagination with what she had on. Everything was exposed. And I mean everything. And I'm saying, now I remember this outrage at Lizzo wearing something that exposed her rear and she leaned over at an event. And yes, that was unacceptable